So we're going to talk about justifying equations. That means that for every process, every step that we're going to do to both sides of the equation, we're going to give a reason why we can do that. So this first step, that is distributing, and we could put that in our process if we wanted to. So if we want to write distribute, then we can. For justifying, really we're going to stick to the properties of equality. So what keeps the equation the same on both sides? So on this one we got 12k plus 24 equals negative 10k, and negative 2 and negative 9 make positive 18. So then the next step I'm going to do is I could either minus 12k or add 10k because I need to get my k's on the same side. So here we got 0, 18. 12 and 10 is 22 plus 24. So what I did just now is adding 10k to both sides. That would be the equality property. I'm just going to put prop of addition. If you wanted to write that out in your own words, what that property is or that step, you could also say I add 10k to both sides to keep the equation equal, or something about adding the same thing to both sides and keeping it equal. So the next step I'm going to minus 24 both sides. 22k equals, well, this is negative 6. So this step right here is another equality property. This is equality property of subtraction, because on this one I minus 24 from both sides. So I could have said I minus 24 on both sides to keep the equation equal. Something about doing the same thing to both sides that keeps it equal. And the last step on this one is dividing 22. 22 over 22 is 1. And k is, I'm just going to reduce the fraction because I could have a decimal, but let's see. 2 goes into 6 3 times, and 2 goes into 22 11 times. So I'm going to say this is, k is negative 3/11. And I need to add in another property because right here I divided both sides by 22. So I'm going to say equality property of division. I showed in class a couple different ways that we could solve this problem. So one way is to get our 0 first. So we're going to minus 1 on both sides. 1 minus 1, 0. X over negative 4 equals negative 4. Well, in this one, so I'm going to justify this step right here. This is the equality property of subtraction. And then the next thing I would do, because it's dividing negative 4, is 2 times negative 4 on both sides. And this is 1. We get x equals negative 4 makes 16. So this property right here, I'm timesing both sides by negative 4, so I would say that's the equality property of multiplication. Now there's another way that I could have solved this, and it would have been a little bit different, so I'm going to show you that. The other way to do this is I could, in fact, times the negative 4 first, but remember what we said in class is if we times by negative 4, we have to do it to every term. So I'm going to times everything by the negative 4. Negative 4 over negative 4 is 1. We get x. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. And negative 1 and negative 4 is positive 4. So actually the first property of equality we used in this case is multiplication. So you could do it first. So equality property of multiplication. Then the next step would be to just add the 12 to get the x by itself. We got 0 and x is 16. And then we'd have equality property of addition.